Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away, and today I'm going to be doing the next 4 stages. The Hachette Partworks build the Mark III Lancaster bomber. You can see quite a few today. So, from what I understand, we are going to be attaching the rear tail gunner today. This is what it's looking like at the moment. Let me just show you a quick problem. So as you can see here at the back, I've got one perfect gun. But the barrels on this one, as you can see, have completely snapped off. Now, I'm lucky that I did actually reorder an issue 47, so I do have some spares. It does mean I've got to swap this out today. So I'll do that afterwards when it actually comes time to do that. Let me just put this back to one side. I don't know if this is still available, but once again, I have put a QR code on the screen there, and once again, it is in the video description. I do think this is going to take quite a while today, but we're going to find that out together. So, without further ado, let's get cracking. Zoomed out my top camera just a little bit there. As you can see, we've got a big stage here. This is going to be the other side for the fuselage. Let's get this open. And if you remember, last time we worked on this side here, so I'm guessing we've got more of that to do here. Let's have a look. This is stage 87 here. And as you can see, we've got the other side here. We've got these details by the look of it to put in. Quite sure what these are. Let's have a look at that. Putting that all together just like this. And then we're adding these parachutes. They're parachutes, and putting these onto that inside fuselage there. So by the end, that's how it's looking. This is the rest of the magazine. Coming in the next stage, it looks like we've got the tail section and the window. This is what I said about the rear gunner. So we're not actually finished with the port fuselage here. We are still going to need that. Remember, I put some tape on just to keep the wires under control here. We're going to be putting some new wires in. So in this pack here, which I'm just going to open, we do have the other fuselage, but we do have a wire that I'm going to need. That's what the other part of the fuselage looks like. I'm just going to put that to one side for a second, but it's this wire here that I'm going to need. So get this out, straighten this up, and I will make sure I've got some painter's tape just getting ready as well, because I've got a funny feeling I am going to need to use this, because it did keep these parts trained into position here. I'm just going to put a bit over there again. Okay, so what we've got is another LED light then that's going to be going into the hole just here, and then I'm bending this down so this can then follow this pattern here. And I've just noticed that I've just bent this over, which I didn't mean to do. Okay, I'm going to have to glue that into place. What an absolute pain. As you said, there's bits here that you really wish you shouldn't have to install now. But there we go, that's going to be able to sit in there, so I can get this LED in here and bend this round to put it into the channel just here. Now I'm going to be training this into position, so I am going to use some painter's tape while I do that. And obviously I'll be taking this painter's tape off once I've got that where I want it. So it's basically going into the cavity that I've got just down the bottom here. That's good. That's still into place there, so that's good as well. And then it looks like it's running along this inside here. So eventually they're all coming out basically just at the back section here. Now there is actually no way to keep that into position there really. So just going to have to rely on what I've got here. But there you go. Let's put that to one side. And bring over the new part of the fuselage that I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to want it this way round with all the interior sections here, because I'm going to be putting some bits into position. So first thing first, I've got a handrail which is going to go into there. I am going to put some glue in that. It looks like they've got the longer side of the handrail towards my left there on this side, and I've got a smaller part of the handrail here, bit of glue on it, which is just going to go into the position over here. That's fitting just like that. Now I've got these smaller details here, so let's get all of these details out. So first one is this little triangle piece here, a bit of glue at the bottom. and the hypotenuse side is going to be facing upwards, so it's going in this way, like that. And then I've got a box panel just going into this section down the bottom here. Doesn't matter about the way this one goes in, it's symmetrical. That just pushes in there. Put that to one side, and now I'm going to be taking the compass, which I'm going to make, and this is just a case of pushing the top into this section like this. It seems to want to fit a certain way round, so that's in like that. That's not going to need glue, but I am going to be putting that into this cage here, and I will put some glue just on this here, because this slips over this end here. So there you go, that's it. I'm going to leave that to dry, just put that to one side for a second. Now I'm going to not put that on the fuselage while it is drying. In the meantime, I'm going to create these parachutes, and these are quite simply just a case of putting a bit of glue inside here, grabbing a parachute and pushing that into place like that, and then do that a few more times. Perfect. And then bring over the fuselage here and get these into position. So just put in some glue on the lugs at the bottom, and I've got one going in there. Again, some glue on the bottom, and one's going on this side just here. Glue on the lugs here for one just to go here, and then finally some glue just at the top there, and that's going to be going into this one here, so that it's located centrally on that fuselage. So that's what it looks like when all four parachutes are in place. I'm now in a position that I can put in this compass, which means again I'm going to put some glue on each of the four lugs at the bottom, and it's going to go into the four holes that you can see just here. Just pushing that into position. Excellent. And there you go, that's in. Then I've got this access ladder. Once again, has some lugs on it which are tilted down, so just get me tweezers to help me with this one. They line up here and here. Perfect. And then I'm just going to make these flame floats, which are all just going to go into the cavity of this base here. So a bit of glue in that. And we did this before, so it's exactly the same thing. Let's put these into place. Now, they have got a little D-shaped slot on, so they can only go in one way. Just a case of spinning them until they fall into the holes. So that's looking like that. There's a little hole for this to go just above that parachute there, and just push that into position. And there you go. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now, showing the final picture here, what they've done is this wire here, they've actually just sort of terminated this over here, and they've wrapped this up along the sides, so that's pretty much laid out as they've got it in the final picture. So that moves us swiftly on to stage 88 here. Loads of parts here for the rear gunner position, which by the look of it, we're going to prepare. We've got some photo etch here as well. That's going to be fun. And putting this into position here, which does mean I am going to have to replace this gun turret here. So it's looking like that. And I'll get everything out, including this heavy duty photo etch, I have to say. Okay, first thing I want to do is just get these photo etch off this sprue here. So it's just a case of rocking them backwards and forwards, just like that, and they'll drop out. Same on this side. And then this larger one in the middle, I don't want it to deform, so I'm being gentle with that. And there we go, that's that one out as well. Once again, magnifying glasses at the ready. And I want to bend these along the parts here. Now, this is one hit wonder, this is, so when you do it, you don't really want to make an error. It doesn't matter if you have to adjust it a little bit, but if you go backwards or forwards, they'll just snap off. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. We're doing the same on this piece here. I do have some duckbill pliers should I need them. I don't think I'm going to need them actually, because they are bending straight into the area I need it to be. That's probably for the best, and it's a testament to these heavy duty parts. Sometimes photo etch can be very fragile, but this is heavy duty. This is good stuff. As you can see, they're in position now. Okay, I'm just going to put that to one side and bring over the fuselage, and I'm going to want to turn it upside down, so I'm making sure I'm not breaking anything. That looks good. So it's sitting just like that. Now I am going to replace this cable that I've got here, or this gun, because it is broken. I don't want it broken, so it does mean I've just got to lift this out by taking the screws off and just taking that broken turret off. Okay, so we fix those rear guns into position. I've got these LM screws here now. I'm going to need those because I'm going to be fitting these into the 3 holes that you can see here, here and here. I'm going to use my PH1 screwdriver, I think, and I am supporting the back because they are going in quite tight. There we go. That's all 3 of those LM screws in place. Now just turning this back over here, and I am going to let it sit flat rather than be on my jig, because I am going to start putting these side panels on now. So this is the first side panel I'm going to be putting on. I don't want to pinch any wires underneath, but if I just tip that slightly up there, I'm going to get this into position. So the easiest way to do this is that I want to line up the holes, the 3 holes here, into the cavity just at the bottom here, like that. That's lovely. Now I'm holding them in with GM screws, and I need 3 of these. There we go, that's into position. I'm pretty happy with that. Now if I just turn this over without breaking anything, I've got another cable here which is going to be going towards the back where the rear gunner position is again, and I want this cable to be coming out here, so I'm going to have to run this one through as well. So I'm gently just putting it over like that. Probably going to need some painter's tape here just to keep this into position, and basically this is going to be running kind of like from this area. Now this time I'm only using thin pieces because when I put this fuselage in, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to these wires anymore. But you know what, to keep these tidy, I think I am going to pass this cable underneath where the other ones were as well, so I know it's not going anywhere. Obviously we're probably going to be having a circuit board in there eventually, I reckon. But I can take my time just so I can trace this LED cable in there. I wish we had installed this at the time we put all the other cables in, I have to say. And I'll do the same on this one. Okay, that's how it's looking at the moment. I'm just going to put that to one side and bring over the other side of this fuselage now, because I'm going to need to put some magnets in here, and they actually just slot into these. Now, they do kind of sit upright on here, and they are a very tight fit. I don't know if we need to glue these in, but mine seem to be going okay. They are saying about enlarging the holes should you need to. They are a very tight fit, but they do go in, as you can see. Just one in the end over here. Then I want to make sure I've got some GM screws ready, because I'm going to be putting the other side of the fuselage into place now. So this is going to go exactly the same way. I'm just going to be lining this up with the 3 holes just onto this side here. That's fitting perfectly. As you can see, it's fitting into the frame here perfectly as well. Okay, so I'll get these GM screws into the 3 holes here. Certainly coming together, isn't it? Like this. And there we go, look at that. It's nice and tight in there. Tight down the bottom, and I'm just going to line up these ends here and push them together like that. That's good. So the fuselage is in position. Now, if you remember, we had a bulkhead in the back here. That bulkhead's in place as well. You know, that one that I broke off earlier on? That's just down here. That's actually pinned into this side as well. So I'm happy with how that's gone on. That's looking good. Now I need some DP screws, which I've got here. Get all of these out. Turn this around. I'm being very conscious about those guns at the back, which I had to replace, because I'm going to be putting the DP screws into these top sections, which is going to hold all of this together here. So you see it's clamping it all in. One there, one here, and I'll just keep going down the other 4 that I've got to put in here, all the way to the very back here. Now I've got these flanged HM screws. Need 2 of these. These are just going to go into the points here. And one on the other side. I'm going to turn this upside down and over, because the FP screws are going to be holding all of this into place here. I want to make sure that the cables are actually going under the fuselage here. And as you can see, that's all in like that. Now, I'm working on the back of the aircraft now, so I want to make sure that these guns are going to be going above this plate here, and this blue light is going to be going below the plate there, as it is there, because I'm going to be putting this into place just on top here. Now, when I put this in, it's going to be sitting on top just like that. So as you can see, the guns are coming up without breaking them either side here. I'm holding that in with an AM screw. This is going to be the floor of the rear tail gunner position here. Do want to ensure that's in nice and tight here. I want to turn this over, and this time I've learnt my lesson, so I am going to just put this along the top there so it's not touching. Because I've got a clear tube here which I'm going to be putting that LED in. Now the LED is going to be slotting into here just like this. I'm putting this into position just into there like that. Actually going to be sitting in like this. Excellent. It's held in with BP screws. I've got them here. Need 2 of these. Okay, let's turn this back round. So that's how that's looking at the moment. And I'm now going to be putting this rear gunner surround into place, which means I am going to be making sure that these go either side here. Being very gentle because it is a very brittle part, this one. Excellent. So that is in there just like that. Very good. Now when you do this, you do want to ensure that this light here actually goes through the hole at the bottom here. So it's sitting in just like that. Okay, let's get these screws in. This is so fiddly. Gunner position into place. Now I need to bring up what we created in the last pack. Actually, we created this a long time ago, this section here. Now we do have 2 tabs when we put this in that we're going to need to line them up and then twist it into position. Just like that. So That's going to fit nice and flush in there. I'm then in a position to take the photo etch that we had. It's going to be going in this way, but what this is actually doing, it's holding these guns into place. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of excess on them. And it does allow me to push that lead just a little bit. And I'm not touching this end here, because these are going to need to sit like that, you see. And I'm going to be doing the same on the other side. And I've had to switch cameras so you can see that they're in position just like this. Perfect. And I'm holding them in by putting this top section on. Now we do have these little tabs down the bottom, which I'm just going to need to bend up. So I am going to use my duckbill pliers for that. And I'm only bending the tabs up there, as you can see. And there we go. That's in position just like that. All that's left to do then is ever so gently feed the guns through the slots here, just like that. And then push this top section down. And I am, once again, taking my time on this. Excellent. Now, you will be tempted to grab these and pull these down into position. You don't want to be doing that because you will break them. Now, I'm having mine in this position. If you don't like the position of this, obviously, you can move them, but I wouldn't move them when this is in. You're going to break them. I'll tell you that now. Put them in the position that you want them to be in, then put this top on. They're not going to go free up and down. At least my ones don't. And they are in fine by the look of it. But, yeah. Now these cartridge rails go in next. They're just going to be going into the bottom here. And I have just glued them in like that. And with that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. Because in stage 89, as you can see here, I'm going to be doing some more of the base. And I've got these 3 panels here. They're going to add to what we've created. God, this is going to be a big base, isn't it? Look at that. Okay. So if you remember, this is what we had already done. And what I'm going to be doing is adding some more. Once again, I want to follow the angles of these dots here, like I've got there. And I'm going to be putting the same brackets in like we did last time. This time though, I'm going to be putting a 2-clip just on here with some of these flange screws. A square clip down the bottom there. So we should have 5 panels in a row there. And then again, following the same direction as everything else, I'm going to be putting 2 under here. Getting those screwed in. Another clip just on that side over here. And that is looking pretty good at the moment. All I need to do is on this side here, I've got another clip which has got 4 holes in that I'm going to need to secure that in as well, just over here. Now with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. We do have this panel left over though. Looking good. So in the last stage of this pack, we haven't done a pack like this for a long time, an hour and a half. As you can see, we now have the control board. So it's just a case of putting the control board into place, and then I've got to match up, by the look of it, every single one of those leads. Wow. But they are all labelled, so it should be quite easy to put them all in. Once that's in, that's all there is to do in that stage. So, open the control board up here. Now, obviously, because of this great big power socket we've got here, it means it is powered through the base. I have got some screws here. Pretty much exactly like we had for the other aircraft we've done. Now I'm just putting this down to make sure that I think there's a chance I'm going to break these guns at the back if I was just to let that lie down. So what I'm going to do is put this on here. But I am now going to be putting this into place. So what I want to do is make sure all of these wires are out the way, like this. Because I'm going to be putting this massive circuit board into place. So it's going to be going in here, just like that. Making sure I'm not pinching any wires. Excellent. And I'm going to be securing that in with those KM screws. And I have 6 of these to go in.
A few moments later.
So as you can see, they're all plugged in. I will tidy these wires up afterwards. The only thing that hasn't got a plug in is just down the bottom there. But with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. That was amazingly fiddly, and I think I'm going to have to put it into a place now where it's going to be safe because, as I said, those guns at the front and the back are extremely, extremely fragile. You don't want to knock them, and I've only got 1 more spare. So, it's going to be a challenge, this build, I think. As you saw, I broke the seat off, which I fixed, and that silver thing just below the cockpit canopy as well. Gonna have to fabricate something for that, I think. But it is what it is. I'm getting there. That's 4 issues done today, and the recording time for this was 2 hours exactly. So I don't know what this edits down to, but I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.